good morning or afternoon or evening, I suppose, depending on what time you're watching this. But hello, Year 12. First video I'm going to do here is just a very quick introduction to to the rest of the videos, basically. I join you here from my daughter's bedroom. Perhaps you, like me, find there is nowhere in your house that is quiet, and so I've kicked her out and have commented this as my quiet space. Anyway, I'm going to do a video in a bit on the reactions of sodium halides. Now, I haven't really done very much on Unit 8 in the way of kind of video tutorials and that kind of thing, and that's really because Unit 9 is considered one of the toughest units and is reasonably challenging, and Unit 8 isn't, basically. It's some of the more simple in organic chemistry that you will do, and we also basically do it again when we do Unit 15. So I haven't done any tutorials on it so far, but I am going to do one on the reactions of sodium halides, because if you struggled with redox reactions, and some of you may not have actually been able to complete that fully at the end of, well, term, you know, before we ended up in this situation. So if you struggled with that, then you may well find that you're struggling with the reactions of the sodium halides. So I'm going to do a video on that, and this one really is just kind of a little bit of justification on that, and kind of taking you through the key points of Unit 8. So I have just sent out some questions from the CGP workbook on Unit 8, and I would recommend that you work your way through them. They are not mandatory, and it might not be that you do them, or it might be that you don't do them for a little while, but you know, keep those there, print them out, perhaps put them in your folder, set yourself a date in the future that you're going to have a go at those. The Group 2 stuff is pretty straightforward, and actually the Group 7 halogen stuff is pretty straightforward. It's just the physical trends down the group. What is more complex is the trends down the group of the halides. Now, that is not the same as the trends down the halogens. The halogens are your diatomic molecules, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, etc. The reactions of the halide ions are different, and the first thing that's important to note there is that the terminology you use is important. If you do not specify in an exam question that it is the halide as opposed to the halogen, so if you just wrote chlorine instead of chloride, you won't get the mark. They're not interchangeable terms, so make sure that you're being very precise and accurate with that. That's not them being pedantic, they're different things. So down Group 7, you need to understand the reactivity of the halogens, and you do that at Key Stage 4. You do that when you look at, you know, as you go down the group, they get less reactive, they get bigger, blah, 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 blah. You need to be able to discuss the displacement reactions of the halogens, and you should really be talking about them in terms of their oxidizing ability, rather than one is more reactive than another and kicks it out of its compound, you know, that kind of basic terminology. So you talk about the halogens as you go down the group in terms of their oxidizing ability. You then need to be able to explain the reducing abilities of the halide ions as you go down. And the reaction with sulfuric acid is the classic one that evidences that trend in reactivity. So in the next video, I'm going to look at worksheet 7, which is actually a practical, and I'm just going to talk you through the expected results, because if you look at the mark scheme and you look at the expected results, if you can't construct those equations and you don't understand their reducing abilities, then it actually doesn't really help you, doesn't make any sense. And then hopefully you'll be in a stronger position to do worksheet 8. Now, if you've already done these tasks and you understand it, brilliant. If you did it and you didn't understand it and you didn't want to email for help, perhaps you felt Unit 8 is supposed to be simple, I you know, can't do this, then hopefully this will help you. So that's it. I will see you in a bit.